Please stand and raise your right hand and swear by the clerk.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
See up here.
Please state your name
Sidney Barrett.
and what is your occupation?
I'm a retired police officer,
And where were you last employed?
city minor,
And what rank were you when you retired?
sergeant,
And how long did you work at the city of Rain River?
20 years,
And how long in law enforcement total?
35 years.
Were you working on October 27th, 2014?
Yes, I was.
Did you have contact with somebody named Terry O'Donnell?
Yes, I did.
What was the purpose of that contact?
She filed a missing persons report for a Christopher Reagan, which would be an ex-worker,
And where did you first have contact with her?
at the police department.
After speaking with her at the police department, did you go somewhere?
We went to Christopher Reagan's apartment.
And was that just you and Ms. O'Donnell?
Yes.
Were you able to gain access to the apartment?
Yes, we did.
And how did you gain access?
She had keys to the apartment.
What, if anything, did you observe about the apartment when you entered?
When I first entered it, it appeared that he had been finding on me. There were boxes and various items that looked like he was preparing to move out of the apartment.
Did he have any paperwork lying about that you noticed while you were there?
Yes, it was like a to-do list for moving and also papers regarding an employment opportunity in North Carolina. It was on the dining room table.
Did you take anything from the apartment at that time?
No, I did not take anything.
Did you go in the bathroom or look in the cabinets at all?
Yes, I entered the bathroom and it was pointed out to me that all his medications were still in the medicine cabinet in the bathroom.
And were there any electronics or TV, computer, anything like that around?
On the dining room table, there was a computer, there was charger plugins for telephones, and television set in the living room.
Did you leave the apartment and go somewhere else?
Went out to the park and ride out in Weeks Township.
Going back for a moment, do you remember the address of the apartment?
514 North 4th Avenue was apartment number 4.
And that's in the city of Rain River, right? So you went to the park and ride. Where is that located?
Weeks Township, just before the Weeks Township Hall. Weeks Amazon Road.
And why did you go there?
It was reported that Mr. Reagan's car had been parked there since the 15th of October.
Do you recall which way the car was facing when it was parked there?
If you enter the parking lot coming from High River, it would be facing to the left, or what I consider north.
Okay, so the front end of the car was facing north?
Yes.
What did you do when you arrived?
Looked inside the interior of the car.
Was the car unlocked?
It was locked.
Did you observe anything through the windows of the vehicle?
There was a couple of water bottles, gloves and a hat that kind of wedged between the seat. There was a knee brace on the passenger side, and also you could see a small yellow post-it note on the seat of the passenger seat in front.
Did you attempt to access the vehicle?
Yes, I did.
How did you do that?
I had tools from the patrol car, and I was able to enter the interior of the car.
And what happened when you entered the interior of the car?
I attempted to open the trunk, however the trunk mechanism wouldn't work.
So you were not able to get into the trunk on that day?
And I took into my possession a yellow post-it note.
Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
Yes.
Ms. Barrett, I'm showing you what's been marked as joint exhibit number 1, and this is previously stipulated to resolution.
Number 1's received.
Could you open that for us? Well, first of all, can you identify what's inside that envelope?
It would be the yellow post-it note with directions written on its face.
And could you open the envelope and take out the poster, please? And is that the post-it note that you found inside the vehicle?
Yes.
Did you take the post-it note from the vehicle?
Yes, I did.
Okay, why did you take it?
He had directions printed on it, which I thought was interesting. So, as evidence, I decided to take the post-it note.
Your Honor, my apologies. What did you do after you went to the parking lot and accessed the vehicle?
I went back to my office.
And did you make contact with anyone at the office looking for Chris Reagan?
I contacted the VA in Iron Mountain Hospital to see if he had been hospitalized or had been there, and I was informed he hadn't been. I also entered into Lean and NCIC Christopher Reagan as a missing person.
Can you explain to the jury what Lean and NCIC is?
It's a computerized system statewide and also nationwide that you can enter a person that's missing, and if the other officers have contact with him, it'll send up, it'll come up as a missing person.
So what did you do after entering this information into Lean and NCIC?
I attempted to contact Mr. Reagan's son Cameron, but went to voicemail. And I also contacted our county central dispatch to have them get a hold of Verizon Wireless to see if they could, they call it pinging, see if they could ping Christopher Reagan's phone.
What is your understanding of what pinging means?
A phone that's on will send out a signal, certain the iPhones or the smartphones, and they might be able to locate that phone if it's on and it's sending out a signal.
And were you successful in getting the phone pinged?
No. According to Verizon, the last the phone had been on was October the 14th, and that it was off. And because of the delay in time, almost 2 weeks, they were unable to locate the phone.
So you took a post-it note from the vehicle. What did you end up doing with it?
Through the course of investigation, it was directions to ended up being to 66 Lawrence Street in Caspian.
And do you know who resided at 66 Lawrence Street in Caspian in October of 2014?
Yes, I did.
Who resided there?
Pete Kelly and Jason Cochran.
When you learned where the directions led, what did you do?
I went to 66 Lawrence in Caspian.
Did anyone go with you?
Trooper Boyer was with me.
And do you recall what time approximately you arrived?
I would guess maybe between 8:15, 8:30. I'm just guessing. I don't remember the exact time.
And you're talking about in the evening?
In the evening, yes.
Is there more than one door to the home located at 66 Lawrence Street?
I'm not aware of that personally. I believe there's a back door, there's an alleyway. I went to the front door.
In what direction does the front door face?
It would face west.
And does that door look out upon 66 Lawrence Street?
Yes.
At the time that you went there, who were you looking for at the residence?
I wanted to speak to Kelly Cochran.
And why did you want to speak with Kelly Cochran?
Gained some information that she had a relationship with Christopher Reagan. I wanted to ask her if she had any idea where he could be.
What, if anything, did you observe when you approached the 66 Lawrence Street residence?
Nothing. I knocked on the door.
Did someone come to the door?
Yes, a person identified as Jason Cochran came to the door.
And how do you know it was Jason Cochran? Did you know the
I
previous?
asked him.
And what was his demeanor when he was speaking with you?
He wasn't overly friendly. Not anything I could pinpoint exactly as far as his demeanor. But he wasn't overly friendly.
So what did you say to him when you approached?
I asked him if Kelly Cochran was his wife and if she was at home.
And what was his response?
He said no, she wasn't home. That she doesn't. I asked where she was. He said he didn't know where she was, but she'd be home in an hour if we came back.
He didn't know where she was, but she would be home in an hour?
That's what he told me. Yes.
So what happened next?
Shortly thereafter, the person who later became identified as Kelly Cochran came out the door.
Were you surprised when she came out the door?
Yes, I was.
Was she previously known to you?
No.
Did she identify herself to you?
I asked her. I had her identify herself.
Is she seated in the courtroom today?
Yes, she is.
Could you please describe for the court what she's wearing and where she's seated?
She's at council table wearing a salmon colored sweater.
Please let the record reflect identification of the defendant.
So noted.
Did you discuss with Ms. Cochran why her husband indicated she was not at home?
Well, I asked him why he had left, and he said, she replied, he might have thought I was in trouble.
Were you in uniform?
Yes, Your Honor.
So you were in uniform on that date. What did you tell her about why you were there?
I told her I was investigating Christopher Reagan as a missing person and wanted to know if she'd had any contact with him.
And what did she say?
She said she hadn't had any contact with him since on or about October the 15th. Was the last time she had seen him or had contact with him.
Was there any indication how she had contact with him around October 15th?
No, only that she had, no.
Did she say whether she was able to reach him?
She said she had tried text messages and tried calling him, but it had no response from him.
And did she have a reaction to this lack of response from Chris Regan?
She thought that he might have left for North Carolina already.
Was there any discussion regarding her relationship with Chris Regan at that point in time?
I asked her about a relationship, and she told me that she had a relationship with him.
And was her husband standing there when you asked her about the relationship?
Yes.
And did he give any indication regarding the relationship, whether he was aware of it or not aware of it?
No.
Did she give any indication whether he was aware of it or not aware of it?
She told me that her husband had been aware of it, and that he had no problem with it.
Did you, at that point in time, notify her that you had found Chris Regan's car?
Yes, I did.
Did you tell her where you had found the car?
Yes, I told her I found it. It was in the park in Ryan Bates.
And what did she say when you told her you found the car?
She says that he loved that car
In the past tense?
in the past tense.
Was that odd to you?
I thought it was like that.
Was there any other discussion at that time with her regarding Chris Regan?
I gave her one of my ID cards from the police department and told her to contact us if she had any contact or any more information as to his whereabouts.
Was there any discussion with her regarding whether Chris was suicidal or depressed or?
Yes, I did ask her how his life had been going, if there were any problems, if he had any problems with other persons, and she said his life was going good.
So, after you spoke with Ms. Cochran, what did you do next?
I contacted Chief Frizzo and advised her of where the investigation was going to this point, and she advised that we needed to bring or tow the car in from the parking lot.
And was the vehicle towed that day?
Yes.
Did you have any further contact with Terry O'Donnell on that day?
I called Miss O'Donnell and informed her that no one was to enter Chris Reagan's apartment until further notice.
And did she indicate that she would abide by that?
Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Barrett. No further questions.
Cross-examination. Shumpert.
So, Your Honor, thank you. Okay, thank you. Afternoon, Mr. Barrett, how are you?
Fine.
Good.
New.
You? Now, you indicated that you and Ms. O'Donnell went to Mr. Regan's apartment, is that correct?
Yes.
And you indicated, I believe your testimony was that the inside the apartment looks like the person lived there was in the process of moving. Is that
It
correct?
appeared to me, yes.
Okay, what made you think that?
There was packing boxes in the living room, suitcase on the bed. Plus there was two different places was like to-do lists, like calling up quote, different things a person would do if they were moving, like a to-do list.
Okay.
That's what I would call it.
You were in law enforcement for 35 years, is that correct?
Yes,
Retired now?
yes,
Right, retirement?
oh yes.
Okay. During your 35 years, you ever been to a crime scene where it's obvious that someone was possessing or ransacking a house or apartment? Have you ever been on a scene like that? You indicate yes?
Well, it would pass, yes, but not in this instance.
That was my next question. So the apartment didn't look like it had been gone through or tossed.
No.
You indicated that when you went to the Cochran residence that you uncovered Jason. You said he was not overly threatening. Can you tell us what you meant by that?
It wasn't hostile, almost a neutral type of demeanor. I guess that's the best way I can explain it. He wasn't overly friendly, he wasn't hostile, more neutral.
Was he short with you at all?
Not that I can recall.
Did he seem to be angry or annoyed with you?
No, never got that impression.
No, when you first talked to him, he indicated that Ms. Cochran was not at home at the time. Is that correct?
Right.
And lo and behold, Ms. Cochran comes to the door, correct?
Correct.
And then you asked Jason, well, why do you want him to be here?
Right.
And then Kelly said something to the effect, he may have thought I was in trouble. Something to that effect, is that correct?
Exactly.
Okay. Did you elaborate what that kind of trouble could have meant?
No.
Did you mention anything about medical bills or medical liens or process servers coming after her in the past?
Not that I recall.
Now, you indicated that when you were talking to Cochran, asking Mrs. Cochran about her relationship with Mr. Regan, that Mr. Cochran, Jason, was standing right next to her. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
So he was able to hear your discussion,
Yes.
and he was able to hear Ms. Cochran's answers.
Yes.
And while, if you noticed, I don't know if you did or didn't, did you notice any changes in his demeanor as you were talking to Ms. Cochran?
No.
What was her demeanor like?
She acted like she was concerned about Chris Reagan.
Did you ask her about her relationship with her husband? Was their relationship bad and different? Did you talk about her relationship at all?
No, I did not discuss their relationship.
Was it discussed at all while you were at the door with her?
I don't believe so. No, I
Did
have
you
no recollection of that.
Okay. Fair enough. Did you at any time ask her if she needed to be afraid of her husband or anything of that nature?
No. I was there to investigate Chris Reagan's disappearance. So I guarantee.
Okay. Did anyone, while you were there, you were with another officer at the time, is that correct?
Right.
And to your recollection, no one brought up the relationship with Kelly and Jason, is that correct?
Correct.
Fair enough, thank you.
Thank you. Any agree to that?
I just read it. Ms. Barrett, if someone were in the middle of packing, would it be immediately obvious that the apartment had been tossed?
It's on apartment's top, so it's definitely a different type of situation. Things would be strewn. The apartment is basically neat, and there's packing boxes. It was obvious that there's going to be preparation for a move.
Were you able to determine if anything was missing from the apartment, or did you attempt to determine if anything was missing from the apartment?
No, I did not, and Ms. O'Donnell, who had been in the apartment, never mentioned anything missing to me.
When, was there any discussion between you and Ms. O'Donnell when you were at the apartment regarding pain medication for Chris Regan?
Yes, there was. There was, Chris Reagan had an appointment for drug testing for his new job in Marshall. There was paperwork on the table in regards to that. And she had found a folder on the floor. It was strange that she found it on the floor by the back door. And there had, inside of that had been reference made to he was taking Percocet because of the knee operation.
When you looked at the medication that was still in the apartment, did you specifically look and see if there were any Percocet in the apartment?
No, I did not.
With respect to the folder that was on the floor, do you recall what color it was?
I'd have to guess. It's been a long
Okay,
time.
well, I don't want to to guess. If you don't recall, you don't recall.
I don't remember offhand, no.
Okay, thank you.
You cross, thank you, you may step down. You're free to stay and watch the proceedings or leave as you choose. Please don't discuss your testimony with anyone who has not testified. Thank you.
The people call Laura Sartori.
I didn't know this is your assistant.
I'm sorry?
Is your assistant getting here?
Cindy is.
Okay.
Ms. Veritas.
Hello, Ms. Sartori, would you please stand, raise your right hand, and be sworn by the clerk?
You solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
You can see here, listening.
Please state your name.
Laura Sartori.
And what is your present occupation, Ms. Sartori?
I'm in charge of Owens Reversal Corporation in Quinnipiac.
And how long have you been at Versa?
3 months.
Prior to that, did you work at Oldenburg?
I did.
And what was your occupation at Oldenburg?
HR generalist, and I worked there for 12 years.
And were you employed at Oldenburg in October of 2014?
Yes,
Did you know Christopher Regan?
I did.
And how did you know him?
I knew him as we had employed him there.
And do you know what his job title was?
Military team leader.
And what type of duties did a military team leader have?
He supervised the military department, which was a pretty large department.
When you say pretty large, what does that mean?
25 people in that department.
Do you know when he started at Oldenburg?
Approximately December 13th of 2013.
And what shift would he have worked while he was at Oldenburg?
He worked day shift.
And what is day shift at Oldenburg?
Monday through Thursday, 5 in the morning till 3:30 in the afternoon.
Or does Oldenburg have a lot of overtime shifts?
We do. Well, at that time, they were working quite a bit of overtime.
And if they were working overtime, would they have to come in on Friday or on the weekend, or would they stay later in the day?
Both.
With a team leader like Chris Regan, would he generally work over in the day, or did he also come in on the weekends?
He would work weekends and then stay later. There was really no set time for the team leaders. They had to stay as their crews there as well.
And did you know Kelly Cochran, or do you know Kelly Cochran?
I did.
And how did you know her?
She was also employed at Oldenburg.
And what department was she employed in?
She was in the electrical assembly department.
And how many people are in that department, approximately?
I'm going to say roughly 10 to 12.
Do you recall when she started at Oldenburg?
It was on or about May 27th of 2014.
And who was supervisor of the electrical assembly department?
Her supervisor was Ryan Wills.
And what were her job duties?
She would assemble the electrical components for our military equipment and commercial power rock line equipment.
And what shift did she work?
She worked days.
Was the assembly department and the military, or the electrical assembly department and the military department close together?
Yes, they were.
Would they have normal contact as part of their job duties?
Yep.
So Chris Regan and Kelly Cochran would have contact with each other as part of their job?
Yeah, the team leader would have to, he pretty much would contact with the team leader of that department, but there were also times where they would have contact with the other employees and throughout the other departments, sure.
When was the last day that you physically saw Chris Regan at work?
It was October 13th.
Of 2014?
Correct.
Do you know the last day that he was actually at work?
It was the 14th of October.
Was he scheduled to work the next day on the 15th?
He was scheduled, yes.
And did he work the next day on October 15th?
He was not there.
And do you know why not?
I just know that he turned in a slip to his team leader that he shared the duties with because the department was so big. There were 2 team leaders for that department, and he had turned in a slip to not be there the next day to his team leader partner.
When they do that, do they have to, do they swap or do they have to cover for each other?
Not necessarily, but if there's overtime, then the team leaders they make arrangements to make sure that one of the team leaders is working, yes.
When he would turn in a slip like that, would he have to take vacation day, comp time?
He could take vacation for that day or an unscheduled absence. He has the option to do one or the other.
When was the next day he was scheduled to work after October 15th?
The 16th.
And did he show up for work on the 15th or the 16th?
No,
Did he call in on the 16th?
no,
Were you surprised when you did not hear from him?
I was.
And if somebody calls in, would they be calling in to you or to your department?
No, they usually call in, they have to call in before their shift, which is 5 o'clock, and HR is not usually there that early. So no, they would call in and speak to their supervisors what's supposed to happen.
And then how do you find out whether somebody shows up for work or doesn't show up for work?
We get a notice from the team leader or their supervisor saying they either took a vacation day or unscheduled absence or no call, no show.
And what was Chris's classification for the 16th?
No call, no show.
And did he ever return to work that week?
No.
And you indicated that you were surprised when you did not hear, or when you heard that he was not at work and was no call, no show. Why is that?
Chris was very organized and detailed, and I had a situation with him when he had personal medical reasons that he was off of work, and he gave me too much information, actually. I have an appointment this day, I have a follow-up coming up, and so he was just very detailed, and so to not hear from him was a surprise to me.
You indicated that Ms. Cochran started work, or the defendant started work on May 27th, 2014. When was her last day of work? If you recall.
Her last day of employment,
How about her last day she was physically at work? Do you recall that?
her last day at work was October 1st of 2014.
And do you know why she was not at work from, well, what was her last day of employment?
October roughly the 21st.
Of 2014.
21st is her last day.
What was going on between October 1st, her last day of actually being at work, and October 21st, the end of her employment?
She had called in on October 2nd.
And do you know why she called in?
She called in and said that she was in a car accident and would not be able to work.
And what is your response as the HR person when somebody calls in and says, I have a medical issue or I've been in a car accident, something like that?
Well, there could be a number of things. She could either qualify for FMLA, which she did not meet the requirements. Short-term disability, depending on if the need was there and she met the requirements for that. Depending on the situation, we could have done a couple of things.
Do you require documentation from the employee?
We do.
And what type of documentation you require?
Well, if it was an accident, you know, police report, if she was at the hospital, we would require a doctor's note, and things like that.
And did you receive documentation from the defendant?
I did not at that time.
Did you eventually receive documentation from the defendant?
I did.
When did you receive that?
Unfortunately, because we were requesting the information, she didn't provide it to me, and we had to, there were other things that led up to her absences. She had quite a few absences, and then when this occurrence happened and she didn't provide the documentation, I had to suspend her until she could give us the documentation. So that happened October 9th, and she brought the paperwork into me on the 14th.
Okay, so she brought you some paperwork on the 14th. Was the paperwork sufficient to establish her reason for being off from work?
No.
What did you tell her when you discovered the paperwork wasn't sufficient?
I had asked her when she brought the paperwork in, we had a meeting with my assistant, Kelly, and myself. So I had a witness in there, and the paper that she had given me was torn. It didn't have anything on it for us to determine if she would qualify for short-term. So I asked for the full document unmodified.
Did you receive the full document modified?
I did.
And was that sufficient for your
It
purposes?
didn't back up what she had said for the accident. It was talking about other things.
So, and I don't go into that, but what did you do when you discovered that paperwork wasn't sufficient?
I asked, we basically told her that she had till the 17th of October to give us all of the backup to satisfy her absences.
And did you receive that?
No.
What was the next step?
I called her on the 21st, and the company decided to terminate her.
Did you actually speak with her, or did you have to leave a message?
I did, I talked to her.
What was her reaction?
She wasn't happy.
Was there a day while Kelly was employed, or while the defendant was employed with Oldenburg, when you called the police and requested a well-being check be performed on her?
Yes.
Do you remember when that occurred?
It was the end of September, because I recall that it being right around that time of the accident happening. And I want to say it was around the 29th of September.
And why did you request a well-being check be performed on Ms. Cochran?
I was made aware of a situation, her family situation that was going on at home. Her team leader had advised me of some things that were going on that Kelly had shared with her team leader. So we had a concern, and I had Kelly come into my office and talk to me, and she had shared some things with me about her husband.
What did she tell you about her husband?
That he tried to kill himself and tried to kill her and commit suicide. So then, I was concerned and offered her EAP and talked to her a little bit then. And then that's why when she didn't show up to work on the 29th, I looked in her record, she didn't have a vacation day request. She hadn't called in, so we got nervous. I got nervous for her, and so I called the cops to see if they would do a well-being check on her.
With respect to this discussion that you had with Ms. Cochran, did you call her in, or does this discussion start out being a discussion about her absences?
I called her in.
You called her in based on what the team leader said? Okay. Did you speak with Kelly Cochran on the day that you called the police?
No.
She did not call you on that day?
No.
You did not hear from her on that day?
She didn't speak to me. I don't recall if she talked to my assistant or not.
Did you have communication with her after that day, the 29th?
Yes.
Okay. And when was the next day you talked to her? If you recall.
I don't recall exactly the day, and I'm not quite sure if it was probably that, because it was right around that same time on the October 2nd. That might have been the next time.
So she wasn't at work from the 29th to October 2nd? Was there an explanation for her not being at work the 29th through this October 2nd?
From what I recall, she brought her husband to the Rhinelander facility over there for the treatment.
That's what she advised you? And then October 2nd, she also indicated that she had this accident, right?
Accident, yes.
Thank you. No further questions.
Cross-examination?
How are you today? Thank you. Yeah, I just want to clarify some points that Ms. Hull brought out here.
Can you speak a little louder?
I'm sorry. I just want to clarify some of the points that Ms. Hull brought out. Is that better for you?
Yes.
Everyone else seem okay as well? Okay, it's not. Now, you indicated that on September 29th that my client did not show up for work, correct?
Correct.
And that concerned you.
Yes.
That concerned you because the day prior, we had a discussion with her, is that correct? Was it the day prior, was it a couple days prior?
It was, I'm not exactly sure of the date. It wasn't a day before. It was maybe a weekish prior to, it was before the 29th, middle of September, yes.
Okay, so the discussion that you had with her was closer to the middle of the month rather than the end of the month, correct?
About the, her husband's situation, yes.
Okay, and tell us again what you mean about her husband's situation here.
When she shared with me that her husband tried to kill her and commit suicide.
Okay. When you had this discussion with her, did she mention anything about him being hospitalized or going to Rhinelander or anything like that?
No, I don't recall at that time.
Okay, I think that came a little later down the road.
Correct.
Then on the 29th, she doesn't show up for work, you're concerned, you call the police, correct?
Correct.
And a few days later, October 2nd, she comes in with her arm sling, is that correct?
Yes.
All right. To the best of your recollection, I know it's been a few years, I know you moved on from your place of employment, your former place of employment. What was Kelly's attendance record like while working at Law&Crime, if you remember?
It wasn't the best. One of our policies is they have to make 90 days of perfect attendance. It's their own probation when they first start. And when there's an occurrence, then their 90 days starts all over. So when the September-October time period came around, she still had not been off that 90-day probation.
So I guess I re-asked the question, so I wanted to specifically answer it, that she had some attendance issues. Did she explain the reason for her attendance issues?
She did, and we were doing our best to accommodate.
And what were those reasons?
We were allowing her prearranged absences that are only supposed to be half days. We were giving her full days to accommodate so she could take care of her husband who she had mentioned had cancer. So we were doing our best to accommodate, and then it was going beyond what we would do for other employees. So we had to start following policies and procedures.
Okay. I do not believe I have any other questions for you. Thank you.
Ms. Sartori, when you brought the defendant in and talked to her about this concern that her team leader had, and she said, oh, he threatened to kill me, did she also tell you at that time that she knew that he would never hurt her?
She said she's a big girl and she can take care of herself.
So she wasn't, how concerned did she appear to be about this statement?
She didn't, and I, being the type of person I am, I was almost willing to open up my home to her because I was concerned she had nowhere to go. So I was having a little bit of that conversation with her. And when she said she's fine, she'll be okay, I didn't offer that to her.
Was she emotional during this discussion?
I mean, not crying emotional, but, she seemed bothered, I guess, not, I don't really know if that's the right word.
Bothered?
Yeah. She didn't seem, she wasn't crying emotional, but you could tell something just wasn't right with her.
There was some discussion regarding when she took her husband to ride her to the hospital. When was that again?
Oh,
When she told you that?
this was when she didn't show up to work on the 29th.
Through October 2nd? Had you ever spoken to or talked to or saw her husband?
I've never seen him or talked to him. Never met him.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Schulte. The Secretary, you excuse, please don't discuss your testimony with anyone who has not testified. Thank you. Well,
Your Honor, people call Officer Tom Hadley to stand.
please stand, raise your right hand, and be sworn.
Do solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do. Stand.
Your Honor, these have not been marked for open market in the past, or in joint statute.
Right.
Please state your name,
Tom Hadley,
and what is your occupation?
a police officer of the city of Fairburn.
And
Could
how
you
long?
number those pages, please?
Yes, Your Honor, I will have that number.
Thank you.
How long have you been at Iron River Police Department?
21 years.
And were you in law enforcement prior to working at Iron River?
Yes, I was.
Okay, and where did you work?
Hannahville, Tribal,
And how long was there?
approximately 1 year.
Since being at the Iron River Police Department, have you had specialized training in evidence collection and processing?
Yes, I have.
And what did the training consist of?
Identifying, collecting, photographing, and preserving evidence at crime scenes.
And how long was this training?
Approximately 2 weeks.
Who puts this training on?
MSP, Michigan State Police, in Marquette at Northern Michigan University.
Is there any kind of test that you have to take at the end of the training, or do you have to demonstrate your skills?
You have to take a test and you have to go through hands-on training also.
As an evidence technician, first of all, did you complete that training?
I did.
And did you test out?
Yes, I did.
Can you tell the jury what an evidence technician does in general?
They train you to process a scene, to have the ability to identify what might be evidence and how to collect that and how to properly check it in as evidence and how to preserve it to maintain its integrity as evidence.
As part of your duties as an evidence technician for the Iron River Police Department, were you involved in the Chris Regan investigation?
Yes, it was.
When did you first become involved?
October 28th, 2014.
And do you recall what shift you were working that day?
I believe I was afternoon shift.
Were you asked to do something with respect to the investigation?
Yes.
And what were you asked to do?
I was asked to preserve a car for evidence to be shipped to the Marquette Crime Lab
And where did you go to do that?
at Northland Service Garage on Western SC Street, Iron River.
Did anyone go with you at that time?
Yes, they did.
And who went with you?
Trooper Call from Michigan State.
And you indicated you were securing it so it could be sent to the crime lab?
Yes.
What, if anything, did you do once you reached the vehicle?
I photographed the exterior of the vehicle and the interior. However, we did not open the door in order to preserve the interior of the car for the Marquette Crime Lab. Photos of the interior of the car didn't turn out due to the reflection on the glass. So the photos of the exterior car were the only photos that were exposed. And then I secured the doors, the trunk, and the hood with evidence tape. Evidence tape shows that the Marquette Crime Lab, that no one has been in there since I last handled the vehicle.
After leaving there, did you go somewhere else?
Yes.
And where did you go?
Went to 518 North 4th Street.
Was that Chris Regan's apartment?
Yes.
And what did you do there?
There
Let me stop you, let me rephrase. What was the purpose of going to the apartment?
we first went to the apartment to see if we could make contact with Christopher Reagan, if he was there, to see if the apartment was secure.
Was anyone with you at that time?
Yes.
Who was with you?
Trooper Cole was with me at the initial time of going to the apartment.
And did you make contact with anyone at the apartment?
No, I did not.
What did you do at that time?
At that time, we secured the door with evidence tape, and after establishing a search warrant with Chief Rizzo, we returned to the apartment to execute the search warrant. And at that time, deputies Bemke and Schiavo were with us as well.
Was Trooper Cole with you still at that time?
Yes, he was.
What types of things were you looking for when you were executing the search warrant?
Well, at that time, it was a missing persons report, so we don't really know exactly what we are going to be looking for. Anything that would give us information leading to his possible whereabouts. This could be a number of many different things.
So you got the search warrant, you went back to the apartment. How did you gain entry?
We had keys in our possession to the apartment.
And do you know where those keys came from?
I had gotten them from Chief Rizzo.
When you entered the apartment, what room did the door open into?
It opens into a hallway that runs straight down from the entrance of the door.
Up on the screen there, and I'm referring to the joint exhibit number 2, picture number 1. Could you describe for the jury what you're looking at in that picture?
You're looking from when we walk in, just inside the entranceway to the apartment. That is the hallway, and to the right, that doorway goes into the bathroom, I believe.
Is there a doorway on the left?
There is, you can just see part of the door frame.
And do you recall what that door enters into?
That enters into the bedroom,
And how many bedrooms are in this apartment?
one bedroom.
What other rooms, if any, are off from that main hall there?
To the right, there is the kitchen and then the dining room, and off to the left, up where the table is the living room area.
Did you, I think we put a next picture of this. We're referring to drawing exhibit number 2, picture number 2. What are we looking at in this picture?
I walked down the hallway and took a picture of the entranceway into the apartment from inside the apartment.
So we're actually looking at the exterior door of the apartment with some officer standing in the doorway?
Yes.
And if you could put up drawing exhibit number 2, picture number 3. What is this picture of?
It's a picture of the bathroom with the shower curtain shut.
Was there anything unusual that you noticed in the bathroom?
Yes.
And what did you notice?
Moved the shower curtain and there was a scrub brush laying in the bathtub.
If you could put a picture 2-4, 2-5. Why did you think that was unusual?
Yeah, it was unusual and it was something that I felt needed to be photographed.
2-6. What are we looking at in this picture, officer?
It's a picture of the countertop and stove in the kitchen area. And that's how we originally found it.
So there's a big box in front of the oven, is that correct?
Yes.
Is there anything outside of the picture that we cannot see?
Yes, the sink area.
And what side of the picture is that
That
on?
would be on, I believe that is on just to the left of that photograph.
Was there anything that you noticed about the sink area while you were in the home?
Recall dishes in the sink.
And I see a drawer open in the picture. That was the way you found it?
Yes.
What are some of the items that you see in this picture that are laying around there?
There was eyeglasses and notepads with some writing on them.
Is that a glass of wine we see on the stove?
Yes, it was a glass of wine with saran wrap over it.
And a prescription pill bottle? Did you look at that bottle?
Yes, we did look at the bottle.
Do you recall what that was?
I believe, I don't recall what that pill bottle was on that corner.
We could go to 2-7, please. Are these the items that were on the kitchen counter next to the stove?
Yes.
And it's a random assortment of items, is that correct?
Correct.
Do some of those items include notes?
There was notes and names on them, so I thought they needed to be photographed.
And are there eyeglasses there as well?
Yes, 2 pairs.
Go to 2-8, please. What are we looking at in this picture, officer?
That's the dining room area, dining room table with a laptop on it and other documents.
Did you take a look at any of the documents that were on the dining room table?
I did.
And what did you see?
It looked like on the clipboard was a to-do list the things on there does led me to believe that there was a to-do list as far as moving.
You put 2-9. What do we see in this picture, officer?
Took a close-up of the calculator with the name Ray on it.
Was this located on the dining room table when you were in the home?
Yes, it was.
And 2-10, please. And what is this?
That is a close-up of the to-do list that was on that clipboard that you just saw.
Can you read for any items on that to-do list? It's a little far away.
I bring boxes up, there's a lot of glare, I really can't see it.
Okay, and Your Honor, with the court's permission, I will pass around this packet that I have of these pictures.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. 2-11. Is this another view of the dining room table?
Yeah, that's a view from the right side.
And what is the room beyond the dining room that we're looking into?
It's a living room area.
2-12, please. And what are we taking a picture of this?
I believe it's the back side of the computer to show what type of computer it was. Laptop.
Are we also seeing a hard drive in that picture?
I got a lot of glare, yes, there's a hard drive connected to it.
I'm sorry, I think that was 2-12, I'm going to say 2-12. 2-13.
That was a October calendar with a few notes on it. That was also in the dining room.
And did one of those, did the calendar indicate like a date of resignation and the last day of work? And,
Last day of work was written on October 23rd.
or was there a date of resignation for the 14th?
I believe so. I believe that's what it said. I haven't seen the clear picture in a little while.
Okay, you're setting some black.
Yes.
All right, 2-14, please. Do you know what that is?
That was yes, that was a note that I found also on the dining room table.
And do you know what the note indicated?
It was an excuse to show that Chris Reagan was taking Percocet, I believe was the prescription.
2-15. What is this picture of?
I believe that was a picture of a letter offering to Christopher Regan from Republic Services Company.
2-16. What is this picture of?
It's covered with miscellaneous electronic accessories.
What room was that picture taken in?
That was in the dining room.
And was the door open on the cupboard like that, or did officer open the door?
I do not recall if I photographed it as we first found it or after we opened the door.
2-17, please. Is this a close-up of the electronics?
Yes.
2-18. What room is this picture?
This is the living room showing pedal bike and a TV from the looking from the dining room and hallway area.
Is there some sort of exercise equipment on the right-hand side of that picture?
Yes, it's weights and then an unknown exercise, piece of exercise.
And is there an ottoman or something at the bottom of that picture?
Yes, I believe there's a pillow on top of in front of a chair.
And this is 2-19, what are we looking at in this picture?
That's the chair with the ottoman, and I believe there was that silver pillow on top of the ottoman.
And did that face the TV in the living room?
Yes, it did.
What are some of the items next to the chair in that picture?
It looked like, to me, there were charging cords for cellular phones, and the cellular phone, I believe, was also in that.
I think we may have a better picture of that. Can you go to please?
That's a close-up of what was on the table next to that chair, Big Chef's cell phone and chargers for numerous items.
And at this point in time, did you know what you were looking for when you were photographing pictures in front of them?
Anything that would help us, understand the whereabouts of who we were looking for and repurpose.
Could you put up 2-21, please? What is it in this picture, officer?
That's a picture of the bedroom as we found it. The bed was unmade, there was suitcases open on the bed.
And we can't see in this picture, what is there room beyond the suitcase between the bed and that?
There is
wall?
some room beyond that where there was items.
Okay, and what type of items were down there?
There were totes, plastic totes for packing.
2-21.
That's just a little closer picture of the suitcases found on the bed and some packing totes and things behind it.
2-23, please. What are we looking at in this picture, officer?
Side of the bed when you walk in, there's a baseball bat, aluminum baseball bat tucked in between the bed frame and the mattress.
And is there something next between the mattress and the nightstand there?
I believe it was another laptop.
And 2-24, is that a closer picture of those items?
Yes.
Can you 2-25, please? What is this in this picture and what room is it taken in?
This is in the living room, or in the bedroom, and it was some pieces of paper over, I believe what's in there is another laptop, and there was a plastic case that was closed, and then some miscellaneous power cords.
Thank That black case that's in the picture, is that an officer's case or was that located in the room when you
I
were
believe
there?
that was located in the room when we entered.
Show your 2-26. Is that the electronic device that was underneath that piece of paper?
Yes.
2-27, that's
A little closer for a little bit.
2-28. What is this item? What was it taken?
This was in the hallway, I believe, and it was, it appeared that it was something that he had received in the mail, and I photographed it.
Is there an address on that piece of paper that's in the box?
There was writing on that piece of paper, and I don't remember what exactly the writing was on it.
2-28. Is this a picture of when you and Trooper Cole secured the apartment?
Yes,
And did you secure it this way when you left the apartment?
yes, we did. We did.
Did you see some items from the apartment while you were here?
Yes, we did.
And I will get to those in a minute. Let's finish up with the pictures. Under 2-30, is that a car?
This is the car at Parkland Service.
And you secured that vehicle?
Yes.
2-31, please. Does that indicate that you secured the trunk of that vehicle?
Yes.
2-32, please. Are we looking head-on at the trunk of the vehicle?
Yes.
What type of license plate does he have on the vehicle?
I believe it was a Michigan license plate. It's a veteran plate.
Does it indicate Persian Gulf veteran?
Yes, it does.
And 2-33, please. And what are we looking at in this picture?
Passenger side of the vehicle showing the passenger door was secure, and the other side of the trunk was secure.
And 2-34, please. Looks like there's more light in that picture, that's just a,
Just to show more of the car.
and 2-35. Why did you take this picture?
There was a leaf in the trunk, and it was just something that could possibly be used as become possible evidence in the future, and I thought it should be photographed.
Did you go to another location on or about that date?
Yes, I did.
Or was it a different day that you went? Yeah. I'm talking about the storage unit.
I believe it was the same day, later that day,
So where was the storage unit located?
in Casper.
And whose storage unit did you go to?
Christopher Reeves.
How do you know it's the storage unit?
I was informed through Chief Riddle.
So what was your reason for going to the storage unit?
We wanted to photograph the inside to find out if there was what the condition was of the storage unit.
And did you take the pictures of the storage unit?
Yes, it did.
Would you please put up 2-36, please? And what are we looking at in this picture?
No, it's from outside with the door open of the storage unit as we found it.
And 2-37?
Just a little closer from the same angle.
$2-38, please.
Just another angle inside the storage unit of items with regular boxes.
These are some of the, how big was the storage unit? It's a little difficult to tell from the picture.
I'd say it's maybe 15, 20 feet deep, maybe 10 feet wide.
Did you go through any of the boxes that were in the storage unit at that
We
time?
did not.
And 2-39, please.
There's a photograph of a trooper inside the storage unit.
And I noticed some items, are those items packed in plastic bins?
Yes.
Were they labeled?
There was writing, there was labels on some of the plastic bins on the contents inside of it.
2-40, please. What is this, a picture?
It's a picture of one of the boxes that I wanted to photograph.
Like, was that just to show how we label items?
Yes, that was just a general way we had these items marked.
Sir, if I may, I publish this packet of pictures with you.
You may.
Did you see some items from the apartment while you were there?
Yes.
Showing you what's been marked as strike exhibit number 3. Do you recognize that item?
Yes, I did.
Is that something that you seized from the apartment on that day?
Yes.
And what is that item?
This is the October 2014 calendar.
May I publish that to the jury room?
Yes.
Does it indicate on the calendar?
Did
that-
you offer number 2?
We
You
did.
not offer receipt it, as well as number 3.
Okay, and it was a jury exhibit number 2. Okay. What is there writing on the calendar?
There is.
And what is on the calendar?
On October 14th, there is written resign. October 23rd, it was written last day of work. And then there is just handwritten the days of the week above on the top.
And now you publish that to the jury room. And Your Honor, just for housekeeping purposes, I have joint exhibit number 4 that I offered this time is the photographs on the disc.
4 is received. I thought we were supposed to pre-mark these.
So Your Honor, we did not have time. Joint exhibit number 5. I'm offering it at this time, stipulated to Your Honor.
Is it stipulated?
It is, yes, sir.
5 is received.
And can you identify that for me, please?
This is the explanation of why Mr. Reagan was on Percocet, signed by Dr. Klein.
Did you seize that item from the apartment on that day?
Yes, it did.
May I publish it to the jury room? Officer Hadley, did you do anything else with respect to this investigation?
Throughout the period of the investigation, I just assisted Chief Frizzle from time to time with different tasks during the investigation.
Thank you, officer.
Thank you. Cross-examination. Shortly.
How are you?
Very well.
Very good, thank you. Prior to your involvement in investigating this matter, have you met either Jason or Kelly Cochran?
I have not.
Thank you. Any questions?
Your Honor, we are finished with Officer Hadley, and we're taking through the floor of the items.
All right. Thank you, Officer Hadley. You, please don't discuss your testimony with anyone who is not testifying. Thank you. Next witness.
Your Honor, we do have one quick witness. Next one would be Trooper Cole.
Cole. So we can keep our husband straight here. I have received all of the exhibits from Law&Crime.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Law&Crime 1 through 5.
Correct.
Can you proceed? Cole, would you please step forward, raise your right hand, sworn?
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please state your name.
Douglas Cephas Cole II, my middle name is spelled S-E-P-H-U-S.
What does that mean?
Cephas, I don't know why it means.
Put a ball in front of it. What's your occupation?
I'm a sergeant with the Michigan State Police,
And how long have you been with the Michigan State Police?
just over 21 years.
And were you in law enforcement prior to being with the state police?
No.
Do you have any specialized training with the Michigan State Police?
I received evidence tech training in 2003. I received technical crash investigation in 2006. Electronic evidence collection in 2012. I'm also a defensive tactics instructor, first aid instructor, taser instructor.
What was the second? No, accident, you said you were an accident reconstruction?
Technical crash investigator.
Technical crash investigator, okay. All right, so the lay term for that is accident reconstruction?
No, that would be one above.
Oh, okay. Did you assist Officer Hadley from the Area Police Department on October 8, 2014?
Yes, I did.
And what did you assist him in doing?
First, I assisted with securing the vehicle and the residence with evidence tape, and then later that day, the IMRP received the search warrant and assisted with executing a search warrant at the residence.
Did you receive an item of evidence from Officer Hadley on October 29, 2014?
Yeah, the following day after, yes, I did.
Okay, and what did you receive?
A laptop.
And what did you do with the laptop?
I did a forensic scan of it.
And why did you do that?
I was looking for any evidence that might help us determine where Mr. Regan went.
And what exactly is a forensic scan?
A forensic scan is a way for an examiner to look at an item without changing or modifying it at all or deleting anything out of it. In this case, I used a program or an operating system outside of Windows that allows me to look at the hard drive without doing anything to the hard drive. I put an external hard drive in that I can export information off to. So it allows me to look at that hard drive without, I can't add anything, I can't delete anything, it just allows me to look at it.
And was there any particular item that you were looking for at this point in time in the investigation?
Just any information that would help maybe point to the equipment.
Were you able to complete the forensic scan of the laptop?
When I first started, I was not. I got about an hour into the scan and that advised that there wasn't enough storage space on my external hard drive, so I had to stop and restart with a bigger hard drive.
And did you complete it at that point in time? Was this laptop, did you observe this laptop in the Chris Regan apartment when you executed the search warrant on the 28th?
Yes,
And where did you do the scan at?
that time I repeated.
Were you able to retrieve any information from the scan?
I retrieved some passwords.
And do you know what the passwords were to?
I think they went to some dating sites.
I'm sorry?
I think they went to some dating sites.
When you do a scan, do you document the information somehow?
Yep, the program automatically puts a onto my external hard drive that takes time of the exam and some other information about the computer. And then if I find something of interest, I can say that I basically copy what's on the examination computer to my external hard drive. So I'm just making a copy of what I found.
And in this matter, what did you do with the hard drive after you were finished with it?
The hard drive I turned over to Detective Sergeant Chris Bracken at IRSP. They were there in the conference room.
Why did you turn it over to him?
That was their they were doing more investigation as far as the follow-up, maybe on the passwords, information I could get to them.
Was there any other digital evidence that you examined in this matter?
I attempted to examine something called a netbook, and I was unsuccessful with that. My program or software that I used wasn't compatible with that.
And where did this netbook come from?
The netbook
Yes.
came from Chris Reed's.
The hard drive.
Yeah, well, I took it on 28th, but I examined it on 29th.
Was there another occasion that you assisted the Iron River Police Department with evidence collection?
Yes, on December 16th of 2014.
And what did you do?
I was asked to collect or swab a steering wheel of a vehicle that was owned by Mr. Reagan to see if there's any DNA that could be found on it.
And where did you go when you were asked to do that?
I went to Northland Patrolman, that's where the vehicle was stored.
How do you swab an evidence item?
Well, the first thing you do is you put on gloves, obviously, so I don't cross-contaminate with DNA. And then I did bring two samples if I can show them.
If I may approach the witness, Your Honor. This is offered for demonstrative purposes only. It's people's
After putting gloves on, the first thing I would do is I would refold my box. This is a box that allows the swabs to dry in it after they've been collected. So I would pre-fold my box off and set that down. And then inside here I have two sterile applicators, cotton swab applicators. I would take one out, get it wet with some water, and then just rub it around the area that I want to search for DNA. In this case, the steering wheel. After that, I insert it through. There's little holes in here that will hold it. And you insert it through and it holds it like that. And that way you can air dry in there and it won't hold. So I would do that twice, and then it just basically folds up on itself. The ends fold over. That folds in, and then you seal the ends with evidence tape and mark it as a exhibit. That's how we fold up. So you fold both ends. So that allows it to air dry the swabs with mold or mildew or anything like that. So and that way it also won't get cross-contaminated or anything.
Did you do that in this case with respect to the steering wheel?
Yes, I did.
And what did you do with the swabs after you put them in the box?
I went back to IRP and turned it over to them.
Did you do anything else with respect to this investigation?
No.
Thank you, Trooper Coleman.
You cross-examination.
Right here, Your Honor. Have you ever talked to Kelly or Jason Cochran?
No.
Good.
Thank you. Sir, you may be excused. Please don't discuss your testimony with anyone who's not testifying. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Your Honor, the next witness can take some time to check that out or not.
Sometime well, we made good progress today. I'm going to excuse you folks for the evening. Again, there's been an obvious media presence here. Remember, for the reasons I explained to you earlier, please do not read, listen to, or watch any news reports about this case while you are serving on the jury. Again, just a reminder, don't discuss the case with anyone, not even among yourselves. Don't have any conversations with the attorneys, regarding the witnesses. If anybody tries to discuss the case with you, please report that immediately to the paper. Have a good evening.